Okay, good evening. So you might be wondering why we're talking about NJGPA again. You saw a similar presentation in the fall. So what happened was we always have NJGPA reporting out with NJSLA and SATs and all of that. But this year, the state wants us to also report out on anybody who took the NJGPA in the fall. So that's what this is. Okay? So a lot of these slides you've seen before. The NJGPA is a New Jersey Graduation Proficiency Assessment. It's given to all grade 11 students. It tests ELA and math. And you can look at the bottom there to see what exactly the pieces are that are tested. In terms of changes that happened, so when this originally came out, the original mandate was that all students had to take the assessment. In May of 2023, there were some changes. So one of the changes was that the cut score change. Remember, we were talking about this, it went from 750 to 725, right? The other thing that changed were, if you recall, the ASVAB. Do you remember that assessment? The ASVAB was also taken out as an option for an alternative assessment. So this is just the information of the changes. You're going to start to see things talking about pathways. So to graduate, you can either do the NJGPA or an alternate pathway. So if you didn't pass the NJGPA in the fall or the spring, then you could take an alternate assessment. So the ACT, the SAT, they're all listed there. That's called Pathway 2. There's a Pathway 3 that if you didn't pass either the NJGPA or the alternative assessment, you could also do a portfolio appeal. So when we report out on small amounts of students, this is something we can't report out for under 10, right? So we always talk about that when we do our normal testing presentations. So when you look on the next slide, I'll show you the amount of students that actually took it in the fall and what we're reporting on. But just remember, you have to go through one of the pathways in order to graduate. And something that I want to point out is that the bottom asterisk there, all of the students who started with us in September of 2023 all graduated meeting a requirement that we put forward. So this is the information in combination from the spring results and the fall results. So the top shows you the participation of students who took the test in the spring, and then the bottom section where it's 10 out of 22 and 20 out of 37. Those are the amounts of students that took it in the fall. So if you took the NJGPA and passed it in the spring, you did not have to do anything else. You were given the option to take the NJGPA in the fall if you had not passed in either math or ELA. So we had 10 students that took us up on that, and 22 students and 37 students who took us up on that offer to retake the NJGPA. 10 students actually sat, and 20 students sat for math, the 10 students for ELA. Since the number is so small, we can't report out exactly on who passed and who didn't pass, but what you'll see at the bottom is the breakdown of pathways for graduation. So NJGPA, in total, you'll see the March score, passing rate, you'll see the October score of passing rate, and then you'll see the total. So out of all students who are graduating in this coming June, 92% of our students passed the NJGPA and ELA, and we had 86% pass the NJGPA for math. Now, what happens? We have that second pathway. So if you didn't pass one of those, you could take an alternate assessment. PSAT, SAT, ACT, and AccuPlacer. Again, ASVAB was taken out. We had 10% of our students passing in English and 12% in mathematics using an alternate assessment. For those that are counting, for looking for that 100%, it's not going to add up. It looks like we have 110% of our students. So the reason why is because we have students that either move in or move out from spring to fall. So you have a different actual base number. The other thing to keep in mind is that some students actually will take this as a, like almost a safety net, but then they ended up passing the NJGPA too. If you look in pathway 3, we have no students that need to take a pathway 3 for ELA, for the portfolio assessment, but we did have 5% of our students that had to do it for math. And I can't tell you whether they are all going to graduate. My hope is that they will. The reason why is because those 5% were still in portfolio appeal, so we'll get those answers pretty soon. For disaggregated data, you normally hear me talk about different subgroups. We cannot do that with this information because it would go under our number of 10. Does anybody have questions on this specific page?
So pathway 2, the PSAT, SAT, ACT, is there a minimum score that they have to?
Yes, so each test has its own cut score that they have to hit. So it'll be different, right? As I said, the NJGPA was a 750, then we went to the 725 this year, we talked about that. It's similar in those other tests, they all have their own proficiency cut scores in order for graduation. Any other questions on this? These last two slides are they're the same that you saw in the fall. So it's ELA and math, what we do for students that if they didn't pass the NJGPA in the spring, what we would do for them in the fall, and then all the supports that we put in place. The biggest thing here is that, and Mr. Pascal would tell you this if he was standing here, regardless of what's on this page, we're going to support our students, no matter what. So we want all of our students to pass along a pathway. We all want them to graduate, and we've been successful in doing that with our kids. So I do want to thank Mr. Pascal, he left already, but Mr. Pascal, the administration, and obviously the teachers who work one-on-one with some of our students in order to have them pass that AccuPlacer in the summer or an alternate assessment or through portfolio assessment.